Good morning, Cedar Park. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023, and it's an A-Day.
This morning, see what CPHS Theater's P&G's production has to offer.
The Brief with Case and Johnson, and a new episode of the Pack Chat.
Turn it up because the Wolfcast starts now. Good morning, Cedar Park, and welcome back. I'm Katie Whitmarsh, and I'm here this morning with Kira Cox and Reed Cummins.
If you're interested in an improv comedy show ran by our very own theater department, you should check out P&G. P&G, short for Penguin National Guard, is a monthly improv comedy show. Instead of taking place on a traditional theater stage, it takes place in the black box, and the shows can sometimes get interactive, making it have a much more personal feel.
It's just a good opportunity to see like a different type of theater, I guess. It's very, very silly because we don't have like specific prompts, so we just end up doing a lot of goofy stuff.
Admission is completely free and dates will be posted on the whiteboard outside of the black box, so check there for more details. Shows will typically take place on the last Tuesday of each month, so make sure to check out one while you still can.
Coming up, this morning's brief, but first, this break. Good morning, Cedar Park. I'm Case and Johnson, and these are your headlines for today. First, President Joe Biden took a trip to Kiev, Ukraine, where he met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky after a 10-hour train ride through Ukraine. President Joe Biden showed his support for Mr. Zelensky and declared at Mariinsky Palace that, quote, 1 year later, Kiev stands and Ukraine stands, democracy stands, end quote. In addition, President Biden also promised to give away another $500 million in military aid within the coming days. Next, Austin police are searching for a missing 13-year-old child. Carlos David Cabota Torres was last seen Monday morning in the 1500 block of Rutland Drive in Austin around 9 a.m., with the child being described as 5 feet, 4 inches tall with black curly hair and brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a red shirt, yellow shorts, and a backpack. If you have any information on Cabota Torres' whereabouts, call 911 or contact Austin Police Department's Missing Persons Unit at 512-974-5250. Finally, a mysterious object that shook South Texas last week has been identified by NASA. They identified the object as a likely meteorite that, when entering the atmosphere, broke into several pieces that fell near McAllen, Texas. Some NASA experts believe that the meteor weighs around about 1,000 pounds and traveled around 27,000 miles per hour. So, what do we think about that?
This is actually so crazy. So over the weekend, I was with Reagan and Ryan. We went on a little camping trip. And while we're at HEB, there was something like falling out of the sky, and we thought it was like a plane crashing. And then as we kept driving, so we had like an hour-long drive, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we were like, what is that? And then we were like freaking out because it was the like flying rock.
Have you seen like what a meteor looks like on the inside?
No.
They're like all
Aren't they like fiery?
Yeah, no, they're all like glassy and like it's like an egg. It's like an alien egg. I think I have.
You did not see a meteorite.
I did.
On Saturday.
No.
It fell on Wednesday.
No, it said it fell on Friday, and I have a picture. I'll show you. You can see me in the HEB parking lot, and you can see it falling, and then as we're driving, it just like gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I saw it.
Thanks, Kason. Next up is a new episode of the Pack Chat, but first these announcements.
Welcome back to the Packed Hour, Student Voice Opinion segment. I'm Jack Polishuk, joined by co-host Caleb Taylor, Tom V. Sancoli, and guest Reagan Hill, as we discuss this week's most trending topics. Let's get started. First, a series of controversial changes have been made to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Twitter has announced that starting March 20th, users have to pay for two-factor authentication, which means without a Twitter Blue subscription, which costs $11 a month for mobile users, users will not be able to add security to their account. On top of this, much like Twitter, Facebook and Instagram have also announced a paid verification program for the services, which is that blue check mark you see next to some popular profiles. The program is called Meta Verified, and it will cost $15 a month for mobile users. Are y'all gonna buy this? What are we thinking here?
Definitely not.
No.
Not for me. I don't understand why people feel the need to, be verified. Like it's kind of cool to see that blue check mark, I guess. But
It's honestly just to gain followers. That's honestly the main reason.
It's a game. It's just like a...
And for that much money a
It's all a
month,
game.
like that's too expensive. And I feel like they mentioned in the article that it was like supposed to protect your account more from like other people hacking it. Like I feel like they'd be taking more information from you than I don't know.
But
It's
don't
just a
you
money
gain
grabber.
more attention because there is a check mark?
Yeah, but I feel like blue check marks are only for celebrities. Like if I see a blue check mark, I want.
if you're not famous,
And
Like,
the
you
people
don't
on
need it.
Twitter
You don't need a
pay
blue
for
check
it
mark.
now.
did you
like-
say it was
Exactly.
$15 a month?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, it's different for like websites, like mobile users, but it's like ridiculous. And
Yeah.
like two-factor authentication is like an important, like vital thing that like shouldn't. Like, why would you make somebody pay for that? It's ridiculous. Next up, the Supreme Court is currently hearing arguments for the case Gonzalez versus Google, brought up by a family of an American who died in the 2015 Paris terrorist attacks, with the argument that Google and its subsidiary YouTube did not do enough to prevent recruitment tactics and videos used online by ISIS. The case is centered around Section 230, which protects the host website while prosecuting the poster of potentially dangerous material. Google has won in the lower courts, but that conclusion could be at stake. So have y'all kind of like looked into this case, and what do we think of the whole, like court case?
I honestly think that there's nothing Google can do to limit that stuff. Like it's literally like the internet. You can't really limit what people post, and that's honestly like a violation of public speech. So I feel like,
Totally.
I actually feel like with YouTube's recent policies, like cracking down on, like demonetizing videos with, bad language and, themes they don't deem people should see, I feel like it's kind of upsetting that they're letting stuff this bad slip through the cracks, and like people are very obviously being affected a lot by it. So
Isn't this a violation against like the freedom of speech in like
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. No, it totally violates like free speech online, and if this case goes, like a different way, it could totally affect how people post on YouTube, how people post online, what people can and can't say.
Right.
So
Right.
this could really heavily affect free speech.
I'll be following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should be, there should definitely be some form of like punishment. Like I think the company should be held liable, but I don't think it should affect, the greater population. I think it should be a centralized.
I agree.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's not like they're recommending these videos or like
Right,
these
right,
recruitment videos, whatever they were talking about. So like everybody, like you
You
very
to
much
go out
have
of
to
your way.
look.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
So yeah.
for sure.
Finally, Antarctic sea ice levels have dropped to record low levels for the second time in the past 2 years. According to the National Snow and Ice Data Center, ice dropped to 737,000 square miles, which is just before the previous record of 741,000 in 2022. This is not to be confused with the Arctic sea ice, which has already been on a steady decline in the past decade. But this sudden decrease in Antarctic sea ice levels is leaving some scientists worried. Quote, "The question is, has climate change reached Antarctica? Is this the beginning of the end? Will the sea ice disappear for good in the coming years in the summer?" said scientists from the Alfred Wegener Institute in German, Christian Haas. So is this something we should be concerned about? What do y'all think?
Many animals are going extinct, definitely. Like I heard polar bears are like starting to go down, and that's kind of sad, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely has to do with climate change and global warming. I know that all the greenhouse gas emissions that are producing all this CO2 into the atmosphere is going right back down into the ocean, causing all the coral reefs to start bleaching. Around like half of the Great Barrier Reef is now
bleached, it's all white, it's all dead, and it's just happening to the Antarctic right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Jack. I'm not as educated on the issue as you
There's
guys,
not a ton I can add to what because both y'all said like
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good
yeah.
things. Like
Yeah.
I agree. Climate change sucks.
people it's you know, it's a really hot topic issue, and I feel like it's being kind of politicized more than it should be, you know. Like they're making it more of a political issue than like a world issue, you know. And I think if bipartisanship, you know, we could just
Right.
get our leaders to work together, you know, we could definitely put a dent in it.
I agree. It's affecting the whole world. It's affecting our planet, and I feel like we should be focusing on that more than some political issues.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, and that's all we have for you today with CPHS News. I'm Jack Polishuk, and remember, T-Wolfpack, there's always time to chat.
Thanks, Jack. Now it's time for your pet of the week. This week's pet is Hadley Song's dogs Murphy and Layla. Murphy is 13, enjoys sunbathing, sleeping, and playing with his toy duck. He hates balloons, baths, and being held like a baby. Lila is 12, but she's happy to be here and just absolutely loves walks and chowing down on food. If you'd like your pet to be featured on Pet of the Week, direct message us on our Instagram account at CPHS News or tweet us your videos and a short bio of your pet at CPHS News. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for taking time to join us during your den. You can catch anything you missed and more on our Twitter or YouTube at CPHS News.
Catch tomorrow's show as we recap choir's performance at the Capitol, a new T-Wolf Spotlight, and 15 in 15.
And don't forget to follow our dedicated sports Twitter at CPHS_sports for updates during the games. With CPHS News, I'm Kira Cox.
I'm Reed Cummins.
And I'm Katie Whitmarsh. Remember to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.